Terence Crawford, will he fight Ennis next or duck for the Errol Spence rematch? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Terence Bud Crawford beat the ever-loving truth out of Errol Spence last night. He beat Errol Spence so bad, I had to stop watching it at the 6th round because it started to make my head hurt.
If you look at the monitor, faces, like somebody had a Halloween mask on.
And my question now is, will Terence Crawford actually fight his new biggest rival, Ennis next, or will he duck for a Errol Spence Jr. rematch? I want to give my 4 nickels on that and break it down for anybody listening.
Please put me in your fucking league. Take that.
Alright, y'all. So I always felt like Ennis was going to be the next name up when it comes to whoever won this fight.
I gotta see my family by punching him in the face. Give me a black eye. What are you gonna do? Give me a bloody nose. What are you gonna do? Break a rib? Make me cry? Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah.
Whether it was Earl, whether it was Bud, and we all know that Bud, stomped a mud hole in plenty places on Errol Spence last night. Unfortunately for Earl, I picked Earl to win. He let me down, and, I'm not mad at Earl. I don't have any disparaging things to say about Earl. No, I'm not going to knock or down Earl. I think Earl did his best, and he just got bested by the better man. And, actually I had picked someone else to beat Earl, but nobody was really listening to that. Nobody wanted to pay attention to the things I was saying, especially not the Errol Spence fans. And not even the Terence Crawford fans were trying to hear what I was trying to say, even though I was kind of like sideline trying to give them a hint to where Terence Crawford could beat the guy. But, hey, I believe that Terence Crawford was listening. He might not actually be listening to me, but he was listening to people like me saying that, this guy's feet are slow. If you can out-quick him, you can most likely beat him.
Jesus!
Since he scored that victory, my new question for everybody is, does Terence Crawford actually, look past Errol Spence at this point and go after what would be his biggest rival now at welterweight, which would be Ennis? Because his only other option was the Charlo fight, at 154, but I don't know how many people heard last night when Charlo was on the broadcast, and he said that he thought that his other brother was going to be the one getting the fight, Canelo, but Canelo actually called him and pitched the fight to him, and he said that he most likely will make a return to 154 pounds, but he wanted to go get that Canelo fight. So the only option that was immediately available for Terence Crawford was the Charlo fight, and he could have held the titles, went and fought Charlo, came back down, and then fought Boots. But it's looking now to me like his best option is a Ennis fight. Now, it's not his only option.
Be 11 o'clock at night. Hello, hey, what you doing? I'm trying to read the Bible to my children. That's why I want to do this.
Because there's Virgil Ortiz out there, and we all know that he had a lot of conversations with Oscar De La Hoya prior to the Errol Spence fight, and what they were pitching was exactly that, a 2-fight deal. I think he was going to fight Virgil, and there was another name that Golden Boy and DAZN have that they were talking about matching him up with. Can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a 2-fight deal, and one of the fights was Virgil, and then there was another fight involved in that. So there's a possibility that he doesn't fight Boot, that he actually goes and signs a 2-fight deal with Oscar and DAZN. and ends up fighting Virgil and someone else. Now, there's a possibility that he says, you know what, I'm going to give Boots a shot. Because if y'all remember, Boots is actually next in line anyway. Now that Terence Crawford is the full-time champion, you got all the belts. There's not a belt out there he doesn't hold, including the Ring Magazine belt. So Boots is actually next in line for that IBF title. Been waiting a very long time to get his shot. And now it's going to be a situation. Terence Crawford has to make some hard decisions. Either he's going to take an immediate fight with someone, or he's going to fight Boots, because I think he has to fight Boots next if he doesn't take the Errol Spence rematch.
Undisputed!
I think there are very limited options, but Terence Crawford has options. He has the option of, hey, I can go make a fight with Oscar and, you know, the Zone and Golden Boy and Virgil and the guys over there. You know, I could take the Errol Spence rematch. I could wait around for Charlo at 154, which I doubt that would happen. Or I could go take my mandatory, which is Jerron Boots Ennis.
Think you better than me out here with your little sweater on? They call it fashion, man. Get these fashion. What's up, so yeah, you up there butt naked with no fashion, man. What's up? Yeah, come up here, I'll rip your little fabric.
Now, here's the thing about the Errol Spence rematch. There was a rematch clause in there for both fighters. And I believe that whoever lost is the one who gets to activate the rematch clause. So it's not on the winner to say, hey, I'm going to grant you the rematch. The actual loser gets to pull the rabbit out of the hat and say, hey, I want to exercise my rematch clause. So I actually believe that it's up to Errol Spence to decide whether he wants to rematch or not. Now, I think that there is a problem with that as well. The problem is Spence doesn't want to fight at 147. He wants it at 154. Would Terence Crawford be willing to grant him the rematch at 154? Me personally, I don't think it sells as well at 154 because the titles won't be on the line. It'll only be for both of those guys' pride. And to be honest with you, who gives a F about their pride? You know, this is just me being honest. Who cares about their pride? You know, we want to see high-level championship fights. So I don't want to see anybody just fighting for pride. I want to see you go get your belts back. So I don't think that fight actually happens at 154 because I think Terence Crawford is going to see it that same way. Like, hey, why am I giving you a shot at 154 when you got a better shot of beating me? And it's not even going to sell that well because the titles aren't on the line. So if you thought the first negotiation was bad and long and all this other stupid stuff was involved, oh boy, this second negotiation is going to be a doozy. And I told y'all that a few videos ago that if Terence Crawford wins, he gets to level all these demands at Errol Spence, and Errol Spence kind of has to capitulate to the terms. And it's going to make things even worse, and the negotiation's probably going to get even longer. So, you know, me personally, what do I think Terence Crawford's going to do? I actually don't see him fighting Errol Spence. I don't see the rematch happening. I think he will most likely try to go with the Jerron Ennis fight, and if he doesn't, he's most likely going to go over there and deal with the Zone and Golden Boy. So, you know, unfortunately for Boots, he might get shaded again by another champion. And if he does, you know, to me, that just reaffirms the fact that Jerron Boots Ennis is more than likely more talented than both of these guys, because at that point, both of them would have ducked Jerron Boots Ennis. Because, to be honest with you, Errol Spence could have signed the Boots fight last summer right after Terence Crawford decided to take on David Evanzian and not accept the Errol Spence fight. You know, hey, and it is what it is, man. I think that, you know, the long layoff did have something to do with Errol Spence losing, and I think he should have took the Boots fight. You know, even if Boots would have beat him, I think he would have gotten off cheaper fighting Boots. Like, he would have made a lot more money off the Boots fight, and he wouldn't have had to give up as much money to make the Boots fight. And I think that he could have gotten a Boots rematch cheaper as well. So, you know, even if he lost the Boots, I think it would have been easier for him to make the Boots Ennis rematch than I think it is going to be for him to make the Terence Crawford rematch. So, hey, I'm not dissing Terence Crawford in any way. He did what he was supposed to do last night, proved his points. But I do feel like if he doesn't take the Gerard Ennis fight, it's ducking. The same way it was ducking for Errol Spence to not accept the Manny Pacquiao fight and to walk away. The same way it was ducking for Errol Spence to not take the Gerard Ennis fight instead of waiting around for 8 more months just to get beat by Terence Crawford. You know, it is what it is, man. I think at some point you got to give Boots an opportunity because he is the truth. Truth, really. And as soon as he gets his shot, I think he's going to prove his point to the entire world.
Bad as my face is, man, his face made my face feel better. I feel better, man.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. The like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tubes, so holler at me over there. If you want to collab or feature a product or your channel on my channel, then hit my Gmail because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are man.
I slide in, looking like $100,000 times 10. I'm in a secret society. Then they get a dame of the freak, give a ride. Club on fire, it's at least in the 90s. Club lights got my gold teeth looking shiny. Super keys, so many degrees. Black tea smelling like trees off a breeze. Leave the club smelling like trees when I leave. Know me cause I sell them CDs for the cheese. I keep it simple, no stripes, no polka dots. Rock what I wanna rock, fit still smoking. You can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. You can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, hold up, hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, hold up, hold up, stay fitted. So low, you would think I'm a no-show. Gator kicks, not the skin, but the logo. Acosta. Fit fresh off the hanger, I'm a game changer. Lanes are in danger. No chain, no ring on my finger, but I'm still fly, so the lanes feel anger. Cause his chain costs about a stack, and they still don't see him like a tap on the back. I ain't a pimp, but I still Mac on the track, and all I really need is some yak and a sack. That way I stay in it. It's your boy Louis Keys and I stay fitted. Well, you can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. You can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, hold up, hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, stay fitted. Hold up, hold up, hold up, stay fitted. You can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like me. I don't give a damn if I'm in the white tee. Scuffed up kicks and no jewelry. I'ma still shine like a jewel thief. Louis Keys, I don't mean to brag. Just trying to hip you to the 7-figure swag. Knots in my pocket so my jeans might sag. Club to the mall, pop bottles, pop tags. Well, you can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. You can bet $1 million, you ain't got it like these. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. I'm looking like $1 million, nice kicks, nice feet. Hold up, stay.